Frank wasn't doing anything illegal. He wasn't hacking. He wasn't stealing. He wasn't even thinking. He just connected. The cafe was dimly lit, with soft rain tapping gently against the glass windows. A low hum of conversations blended with the rhythmic tapping of keyboards. Frank sat alone at a corner table, his laptop open, headphones resting around his neck. His deadline was close. His mobile data had just run out. Then he saw it. Unsuspecting. No password. Frank leaned back slightly, exhaling in relief. Perfect, he muttered under his breath. Without hesitation, he clicked, connected. What Frank didn't notice was a man sitting 3 tables behind him. The man hadn't ordered anything. He hadn't touched his phone. He simply sat there, calm and still, his eyes occasionally flicking toward Frank's screen. On his laptop, lines of code moved silently, tools activated, signals intercepted, because the network Frank had just connected to wasn't from the cafe. It was his. A trap. Public Wi-Fi had always felt harmless. Airports, hotels, cafes, places built on convenience. To Frank, it was just another tool, a quick solution to a temporary problem. But what he didn't understand was this. Using public Wi-Fi was like speaking in a crowded room. You might think your conversation is private, but anyone close enough could hear every word. And some people weren't just listening, they were waiting. Frank logged into his email first. His fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. Username, password, enter. Nothing unusual. Then his bank app. Again, nothing. Everything looked exactly the way it should. Good, he whispered, focused. Let's get this done. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. The man in the corner leaned forward slightly, his eyes narrowing as new data streamed across the screen. Got you, he said quietly. He had launched what's known as a man-in-the-middle attack. Frank believed he was communicating directly with his bank, but he wasn't. Every piece of information he sent, every click, every login, was being intercepted, copied, and quietly passed along, like a message handed to a stranger before reaching its destination. The stranger reads it, studies it, and then decides what to do with it. Time passed. Frank finished his work, closed his laptop, and packed his bag. He stretched slightly, satisfied with the progress he'd made. As he stood up, he glanced once more at the Wi-Fi connection symbol. Still strong, still safe. He walked out into the cool evening air, unaware that he had just left something behind. Not his laptop, not his phone, but something far more valuable. Control. Behind him, the man finally smiled. He leaned back, closing a few tabs on his screen. He didn't need Frank anymore. He already had everything. That night, Frank's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen casually. A login alert. He frowned. That's strange. Another notification appeared. Then another. His expression shifted from confusion to concern. Wait, what? He quickly opened his email app. Access denied. He tried again. Incorrect password. A cold wave of panic began to spread through his chest. No, this isn't right. He moved to his banking app. The loading circle spun, then stopped. Unauthorized access detected. Transactions he didn't recognize. Amounts he didn't approve. Someone's in my account, he whispered, his voice tightening. His hands trembled as he tried to reset his password. But it was too late. The recovery email had already been changed. He wasn't locked out by accident. He had been locked out intentionally. The power had shifted. Completely. Days turned into chaos. Frank found himself trapped in a cycle of calls and emails. Yes, I'm the account owner, he repeated over the phone, frustration building in his voice. No, I didn't authorize those transactions. Verification processes, security questions, endless waiting. Sleep became difficult. Trust became fragile. Every notification felt like a threat. Every silence felt worse. Late one night, sitting alone in his room, Frank stared at his laptop screen. How did this happen? He asked quietly. The room offered no answer. But deep down, he already knew it wasn't a complex hack. It wasn't a targeted attack. It started with something simple. A click, a connection, a moment of trust. The truth is, the internet isn't just a tool. It's a battlefield. And most people walk into it completely unarmed. Free Wi-Fi isn't free. There's always a cost. Sometimes it's your data, sometimes it's your privacy, and sometimes it's your identity. So the next time you see a network that promises something for nothing, pause, look closer, ask yourself, what is this really costing me? Because in a world built on technology, the greatest threat isn't always the hacker. It's the moment you let your guard down. Every action leaves a trace. Every shortcut carries a cost. And sometimes the smallest mistake opens the biggest door.